Yeah, so let's actually drop in today in a way that maybe I can help you connect with some of this energy here. So if it feels good to you, you can stand. If you want to stay sitting or lying down, that's welcome as well, whatever your body's needing today. And let's just start by, if you can, if you're in a space where you can move your body, even if it's subtle, and not how I'm moving my body, but how your body feels like it wants to move. And you may want to close your eyes, and you may just want to stand with your feet hip width apart and bend your knees and just wait for your body to show you how it wants to move. So it's like rather than the movement coming from your mind, it's coming from an impulse in the body, and you can see the impulse maybe, and then you let your body move. You, you move it in the way that it wants to. It might be slow and it might be fast. Your body will tell you what it wants. And if that concept is just sounds really strange and you're like, I don't really understand what she's talking about, just just start to move your body. Just let your body move itself. It might be where there are areas of like tightness or some feeling of constriction, maybe. So it might be a stretch or it might be like a bounce, whatever feels good. And if your balance is okay, or if it's not, maybe even holding onto a chair if you're standing. And again, just inviting, if it feels good, to close your eyes and really feel what this body feels like today, your body. What's your experience inwardly? And if you notice that it feels better to keep your eyes open, do that. And in a moment, maybe even just intentionally open your eyes if they're closed and take a look around your space, not just at the screen, but the whole room that you're in, assuming none of you are outside right at the moment, unless you're in a warmer place, and then you might be. So taking in whatever space you're in. We did this last week, but it's a way of kind of like looking and seeing, okay, there's actually no imminent danger in my space. If there is, please get out of your space. Go take care of yourself. But looking around and just really noticing, okay, especially when there's more trauma in your history, there can be a tendency for the body to really feel like it is in danger a lot of the time, even when there is no imminent danger. So just really looking around and seeing that, in fact, you are safe. And then coming to a position that's comfortable to stay in for a while, and you can move if you need to, but I'd invite you to find your most comfortable way of being in your body right now, whether that's lying down or maybe standing up or sitting on a chair or a cushion. Seeing what your body needs today to be most at ease. Not what you think a meditator should do, but what your body is actually saying, this is how I want to be today for this next bit of time. And now calling attention, in whatever position you're in, to this body that you're living in. And noticing if there are areas of tension or tightness or a feeling of holding or resisting in the body, and not changing it, not making it different, not forcing it to be different, but just simply noticing. What does that feel like? If it's there, it might not be there for you today. And what is here in the body? What is my experience in this body today? And there may be parts of your body that like ache or mm, are telling you in some other way that they want your attention, your nurturing. And if that's the case, seeing about maybe putting a hand on that part of your body. If there's pain or aching, it's oftentimes not that pain isn't a real physical sensation, but so often pain is actually tied to old trauma that is, somatically it's stuck in the body. It's energy that's been tightened around many, many times. So again, we're not forcing it to go anywhere or do anything different. We're just meeting pain or tightness or tension with our own loving touch. So, you could put your hand on your heart or your head or your face or your belly or your shoulders, or your legs or your womb or your sacrum. And the places will tell you what they need. And if it's a spot in your body that you can't reach comfortably with your hands, then imagining that the breath can be like an energetic hand. You can breathe into and imagine the breath just like a hand. If you feel, a tightness inside, like deep in your right hip, for instance, breathe in and imagine the breath as like this loving, tender touch that moves down into your hip and just sort of envelops it and cradles it. Just holding, nurturing, and being with. That's what these parts want. They just want to be presenced usually. They want someone to be with them instead of feeling walled off and separate, which is what we usually do with pain or discomfort. We wall it off and disallow it and reject it and make ourselves wrong emotionally and physically. So we're just meeting these parts in a different way, a way that will allow them to become integrated into your full adult being. You don't have to get rid of anything. And maybe your body wants to rock. Maybe it wants to comfort itself, comfort a young part by rocking. You just start to explore with your body and see what feels good what feels good is the direction that you move in. So you might try something, it feels yuck. Then you pivot and you try something else. And see if you can notice, if you are bringing your own touch to your own body, what happens? Like, feel into that part of your body as your hand meets it. Just be curious about what happens with the body when you meet it this way. There's no right or wrong reaction. If it's not in resonance, it might feel bad, or you might just feel like, oh, I don't want to touch myself there. And, or it might, the body part might actually soften. It might feel really good. Pain might lessen. Or it might just feel less scary. And again, this can be physical or emotional pain felt in the body. And so we'll just practice together in this way, this very simple way of meeting your body in the moment with what it needs, attuning over the course of the next 30 minutes to what your body is telling you. And it may come up as a pain or as a tightness. And notice if your first impulse is to shut it down or reject it, and just notice that. Notice that patterning. We all have it that arises. And then see if you can do something different than you would normally do and meet it with either loving touch or loving breath, breathing into this thing. And it might not even be a pain or a discomfort. It might be a sensation that doesn't have like a necessarily a negative feeling. It might be a bubbliness. It can be anything that shows itself in your body that wants to be seen and met. And it might not require touch or specifically breathing into it. It might just want your witnessing, your presence. And so stay with each sensation as long as it feels alive in you. And then as it moves through, there might be a time of quiet where nothing is arising in the body. The mind might get active, which is also fine. Just notice what the mind is doing. And then see if you can drop just a layer deeper into the body. The mind will pull us out of the body, especially when it's scared and it thinks it needs to control. So you don't need to control your mind because it'll fight back and make it harder. Just notice the mind. And just like you did with the body, like, oh, the gesture of touch is like one of, oh, sweetheart, I'm sorry this is hard. You can do that with your mind too. You can do that with the thoughts if they're panicking or sad. Hand on your head, kind of like, oh, this is where we think of our thoughts being, is in the head. This gentleness with the mind that we don't usually have. We're so self-critical usually. But meeting your own mind with compassion, with loving touch, with breathing into, if the mind is really busy today, it's not because you're a bad meditator. There's no such thing. Because the mind is active for some reason. So just let it be, but presence it. And instead of judging it and trying to shut it down like we do, hold it, be kind to it, be kind to your mind and your thoughts. Meet them like you would meet a scared or a hurt child with your most skillful adult self. So, in this meditation today, you'll be invited to move your body and to move your hands with each shifting need that you're witnessing in your own body. So, I'm not going to give a lot of prompts after this initial instruction period so that you really have a chance to go deeply within your body. And when you notice that you've gotten checked out of your body, which we all do, and the mind is really active, witness and presence the mind. Maybe put your hand on your head, wherever it feels like it might feel good to hold your head even. See what feels intuitive. Your body will show you what it needs. And then move with each passing phenomena through the body. Your hands might move, the focus of your breath might shift. And know that we're all in this together. We're all practicing, attending to our own bodies that hold so much wisdom, so much knowing, and they're just showing us as we tune in more and more deeply. They can show us so much without words. Just practicing, even if this feels really foreign to you and really frustrating, just noticing, okay, what does frustration feel like in my body? You don't have to be good at it. You don't have to be good at it. It's hard. We're disconnected from our bodies. It's the way it is for most of us. So allow for that humanness. Hearing the sounds as well, you know, letting that part of your sensorial human body experience in as it arises, seeing what the body does with sound, and using the breath to stay somewhat grounded in the present moment, you know. The mind will want to go past and future, and not a problem. Again, no need to fight. Just notice and then breathe. And then you're now. You're automatically now. As soon as you just notice the breath. Let's practice together in this way if this resonates. And if it doesn't, then do your practice how you're accustomed or how you feel resonant for you today. It's all an invitation and a choice. You choose dropping deeply into the body and following what it needs, meeting its needs with your hands and breath and awareness. Especially notice if you're clenching your jaw, bring attention to your jaw and your mouth. Asking your body, what do you want? What do you need? If you happen to be not having a lot of body sensations today, or there's a sense of numbness or detachment from the body, you can really trust that that's right in this moment, that that's the right thing for you in this moment. It's just another way that the body shows its wisdom. It may be that the body just knows that maybe this exercise is not resonant for you today. So it's like, no, we're not going to show a lot of sensation today, or so you can really trust. And then you can just be with a sense of numbness or a sense of neutrality. You can be with your mind, however it is today, or your emotions. It doesn't have to be only the body. The body might show you that it doesn't want to be seen and felt today. Maybe it's more activity in your mind. And then just meet your mind with the love and compassion for however it is right now. Breathing into the mind, giving more spaciousness, just watching how the mind just creates thought streams. We get off on one story and then we forget that we're in the present moment. No problem. It's when you notice it, come back to the present moment with the breath again and again. Just returning to the breath, returning to the body. And in that way, we can be with our own minds, witnessing them, getting lost in story because we're human. And then gently, when we see the story or the thought train, it's not disregarding or rejecting it. Thoughts are useful, the mind has utility. And in this moment, we're practicing being right here, right now. So the mind will tend to go future and past. And just noticing that, and now, coming back to now, gently, not with harshness. And if there is harshness, then notice that. Notice if there's a harshness towards yourself and your energy towards yourself. Just see that and feel that as part of your experience. Because we're allowing all the parts to be here, all the parts to rise and show themselves to you through thoughts or emotions or body sensations or knowings or other methods. And then we're just following that thread of consciousness as it shows us what is alive in this moment. Just following the thread. Hmm. So if your eyes are closed, I invite you to keep them closed. And if they're open, allowing them to rest softly on something in the room. And invite you to learn a healing mantra if that resonates with you today. We've been attending to ourselves in a way that has been invoking the inner healer in each one of us, attending to witnessing different parts of the body, parts of the mind, parts of our emotional layer. And so I want to teach you a mantra that is for healing, and you can use it for yourself or for others. For now, let's use it for ourselves. And I'm not going to get into the meaning of it today just because of the time, but I'm going to say the syllables, and in your mind, after I say a syllable, repeat it. The first one is Ra, R-A, Ra, Ma, Da, Sa. Ra, Ma, Da, Sa. Ra, Ma, Da, Sa. And then the second half of the mantra is Sa, Say, So, Hung. So it's S-A, Sa, S-A-Y, Say, S-O, So. And then H-U-N-G, but the G is, the is short. So it's Sa, Say, So, Hung. So in your mind, repeat each syllable after me. Sa, Say, So, Hung. So I'm going to say it many, many times. And just like we would do in like a kirtan, like a call and response chanting, a spiritual chant, that's what kirtan is. I'll say the syllable and you say it in your mind. And we'll go like that many rounds. And then if there's time, I'll be quiet. And you can just repeat the mantra in your mind again and again. Yeah. Ma, da, sa, sa, say, so, hum. If you're going through loss or grief or heartache, you might want to put your hand on your heart. If you're in fear, it might feel good to put your hand on your belly or your throat. So again, just attuning to where does my body need healing intuitively? Where is there tension or discomfort or pain? Or where am I feeling anxiety or restlessness? How can I meet this body, this human self, with my higher self in the most loving way? How can I presence myself? And then touching yourself or breathing into this part of you that needs loving attention, if you can locate it. And directing the mantra into the space, directing the mantra into your heart or your knee or your shoulder or your hip. Ra, ma, da, sa, sa, say, so, hung, ra, ma, da, sa, sa, say, so, ra, ma, da, sa, sa, say, so, if you're able to say it with me out loud, if you're in a space you can do that, do it out loud and feel the vibration in your chest, face, throat, wherever you feel it. We'll do 2 rounds together out loud if you can, if not in your mind together. Ya, ma, da, sa, sa, say, so, un, ra, ma, da, sa, sa, say, so, un. Invite you to complete our meditation together with 3 ohms out loud or in your mind, whatever your preference is. Breathing in. Om. May the fruits of our practice spread outwards in all directions and help to end the suffering of all beings everywhere. About each one of you. Thank you for showing up for yourself and therefore for the collective.